Hey there everybody, this is Piper here and welcome to another Roll to War video. So this video is all about light cavalry. It's going to be like a mini tutorial, but it's going to be like a rundown on the best versus the weakest light cav in the game, in my opinion. And we're going to be going through each of the different units in detail and analysing their strengths and weaknesses. So number one, we've got Headhunting Maidens. And these guys are, or these girls rather, they're the best in the game. They're the best light cavalry for a number of reasons. They have an excellent charge. They have a charge of 8, and they have armour defeating properties. It says here they're effective against armour. That means they only count half the enemy's armour, and they also have good morale. So also, before I go through the whole list, certain units have actually not counted. I haven't included camels, light cav, or jav cav in the game. I've done jav cav before. I'll be doing light cav soon. I'll be doing horse archers quite soon. And camels are they're a lot more powerful than horses in the game. So I'll leave them for another day. This is just going to be about light cavalry. So number one, Headhunting Maidens. Second on the list, we've got Roman Cavalry. These guys have more armour than Longshield, and they have good stamina. It also says here fast moving. In a previous video I've actually covered the speed of different cavalry. You see here there's actually two columns, one being tier 1 speed, second being tier 2. Tier 1 is like the fastest group in the game, tier 2 is second fastest. So obviously Roman Cavalry is not as fast as Headhunting Maidens. So next on the list we have Longshield. These guys are third. They have good morale, better charge than Roman Cavalry, but they have a weakness versus missile. It's not that bad, but in comparison to Roman Cavalry, a larger percentage of the total defense is defense skill. They have less armor, so they're weaker versus missile. So 1 versus 1, Roman Cav and Longshield Cav, it's almost 50-50. But Roman Cav has slightly better attributes in the defense. They have good stamina as well. So they're more versatile than Longshield. And again, Longshield, they have a better charge of 6. So it doesn't actually say here powerful charge. But basically anything 6 or above, you want to use your wedge formation. So they have a better charge than the Roman Cav. So fourth on the list we have Desert Cavalry. So we'll check out the stats on Desert Cavalry. And like the Maidens, they're actually armour defeating. It says here effective against armour. It means they only count half the enemy's armour. So they're very powerful. And they're also, see here, they're tier 1. So they're also quite fast as well. So we've got Equities next. They are 5th on the list. So they have good stamina, and they have better defense than the Barbarian Cavalry. They're also tier 1, so they're faster. So this is a situation whereby Equities are very similar to Barbarian Cavalry. So 1 versus 1, it would be about 50-50, but Equities have better attributes, they have good stamina, and they're faster being tier 1. So that's another situation whereby two units quite similar in stats, probably 50-50 straight up, but in a battle you have more options, so Equities are better than Barbarian Cav. So next we'll check out Barbarian Cavalry, and already explained they're tier 2, so they're slower than Equities, but they have better attack stats than the Equities. They have a better charge bonus as well. So they have a charge bonus of 7, so you want to definitely use your wedge formation with the Barbarian Cavalry. So next on the list, Arab Cav. These guys are recruited by Parthia and Armenia. And they have good stamina, and they're better armoured than Nubian Cavalry. And they're also tier 1. So they're quite similar to Nubian Cavalry, 1 versus 1, but they have better attributes. They're more versatile in the battle. You tend to find good stamina is very useful because they won't tire as fast as regular cavalry. So Nubian Cavalry, like the Arab Cav, they have good morale. They have a better charge than the Arab Cavalry. They have a charge of 6. So again, anything 6 or above, use wedge formation. But their weakness, they have no armour. They're very vulnerable to missile. So like the Longshield Cavalry, they have no, well, Longshield have some armour. Nubian Cavalry have no armour. So they're very vulnerable to missiles. They are also tier 2, so they're slower as well. So if we just have a quick look at their stats here, their unit description, or the actual graphics, you can see there they don't have any armor. They have a cool leopard skin covering. That's basically to protect their groin, I think, but they have no armor at all, so they're very vulnerable to missile. So they can be quite useful using the charge. Like Lancers, they have good charge but no armor. So these guys can be useful, but they have to be used in a certain way. If you expose them to missiles, they're going to fail badly. So next we have Round Shield. Now 1 versus 1, Round Shield are better than Lancers. They have better stats than Lancers, and all round they're more versatile because they have armor and shield, but they're not as fast as Lancers. So Round Shield are good, but they're not as good as Nubian, and they're slower than Light Lancers as well. So we'll check out Light Lancers. Now I've said that Round Shield are better than Light Lancers 1 versus 1 because this list is basically 1 versus 1, which Light Cav are the best, primarily on stats with a slight use of the attributes as well. Light Lancers, they have good morale, superb charge. You have a charge of 9. However, they're vulnerable against missile because they have no armor. So if you can utilize that charge well using wedge formation, these guys are devastating. And Light Lancers are very good value for the money. They're very good light cavalry, but stats wise they're not as good as the Round Shield. But these guys can be better if they're used in the right way. So last on the list we have Greek Cavalry, and these guys are tier 2, so they're not as fast as Light Lancers. They have better defense than Lancers because they have armor. So they have armor of 3, defense skill of 5, but again they have no shield. So they're slightly better than Lancers against missile, but they're slower than Lancers. However, they will beat the Lancers 1 versus 1. However, I've given the Light Lancers second last position because they're a lot more versatile in battle and they have more uses. So that's the whole list here. What I'll do is I'll leave a text screen at the end with all this information summarised, so you guys can refer back to it, and I'll also try and leave it in the video description as well. Again, this is just my opinion on Light Cavalry. This is basically my best to worst Light Cav in a game. This is what I think. Obviously everyone knows about Headhunting Maidens being great Light Cav, but there's some other ones that might not be the same. Like some people might class Light Lancers better than Round Shield, or they might class Long Shield better than Roman Cavalry. This is what I think. Please tell me what you think. If you have a different best to worst, anything that you feel I've missed out or haven't included, please message me or leave a message in the description below in the video comment section. I always like to know what you guys think, and if anything I missed out, it's always really interesting to know. So that's the end of this tutorial video. There'll be a couple more other videos coming out in the next couple of weeks. I'll be doing one about heavy cavalry, chariots, and I plan to do one about horse archers and chariot archers as well. So stay tuned for those videos. Again, please make sure you like, comment and subscribe. This is Piper signing off.